Hey YouTubers, Rob here with another look at a C64 classic shoot 'em up game. This time we're looking at one that was actually quite a big classic of mine, big classic favourite of mine as a kid, which is Light Force. This is a running demo, but as you see, it's another vertical scrolling shooter. Compared to a lot of others, it doesn't really rely on crazy enemy formations, lots of fairly ground level design. Instead, it's relying on some pretty tricky enemies. You can see these sort of homing enemies in the demo, and the rather large player sprite as challenge. The basic idea is you fly through each stage, try to survive without being destroyed, but also take out certain elements of the stage to be able to earn extra life. So I've seen a bit of the gameplay there, so let's dive in and have a play. So now we're entering the first stage, the Asteroid Belt. I believe there's 4 stages. Back in the day, I think I made it to level 2, which is the water stage that you just saw being played, the demo run through earlier. So yeah, the basic idea is we move. Now, again, playing on an emulator with a gamepad is not quite as accurate, so I'll try my best. I really need to get a decent retro style joystick. So the big thing is to get an extra life, rather than aiming for multiples of 10,000 points, you destroy these control centers. So with these structures, there are, on this stage, it's that blue squarish structure I just destroyed. By destroying those, by destroying all of those in the stage, you'll earn the extra life at the end. So it's a fairly reasonable challenge, and the game is fairly lenient in some other areas. For example, most shooters tend to be 3 lives, extra life at 10,000 points. Here you're given 5 lives, and that actually adds up when making the game a little easier to stomach. Now onto a different kind of enemy, which is these little homing asteroids, and back to them. So I like the fact that it doesn't have any type. They're enough to sort of learn the patterns. Okay, so this stage really has 4 enemy types. It's got the yellow asteroids, which are just flow down the screen. These cubes, which only appear when you're attacking the control center. These white asteroids that home in on you, and then the little circular-esque ships that fire sparklers. Now we've completed the first stage. Take that last control center out, and we complete the first stage. Done pretty well there. So get ready and dive onto stage 2, which is the water world, which is pretty much where I end up. So, as the idea here is now we've got these enemies coming from behind, and you need to sort of avoid where they come from out of the bottom of the screen, go around them, and take them out without them hitting you. Ugh! So it gets tough. Eventually, one thing that is a relief is that you eventually, if you get far enough, the restarts won't be. And another thing, you don't get the instant restart that something like Salamander used, but you get some fairly generous restart points. Well, that's game over. As I said, this game is always tough, and that's probably about as far as I got as a kid. And it's been a long time since I've played this, other than the warm-ups I had of it prior to recording this video. Compared to a lot of other shooters, this has a fairly unique high-score entry scheme. So let's go and enter my name. So here you're flying around, collecting the letters. Blasting the letters. I will try not to keep you bored, because doing this earlier took way too long. Yeah, I'm at the stage where I'm just entering random because I don't have the patience to try this. Actually had a problem recording this earlier where I realised the resolution was wrong. So, there we are, 11,950 on the water world. So yeah, there's 4 stages: water, asteroid, water, orb, which I guess is an orbital stage, and ice. we'll go in for another shot, see if we can get any further. But so you sort of get the drift of it. I mean, I love the graphics. Graphics are very nice and colourful. Excellent scrolling, all that stuff that the C64 does brilliantly. The music, for me, is probably the best part of this game. It's an amazing, epic piece. But I guess that's what happens when you get someone like Hubbard on board to do the composing. I mean, I do like that the challenge comes from these sort of like limited numbers of enemies and some good maneuvering skills around them. I mean, most shooters, it's always like too many enemies to see at once, so it becomes a big chore to actually deal with them. So here it's a case of, at least on this first stage, I mean, you can sort of see where I choked on the second stage and did a pretty terrible job. I feel like an embarrassment this time. But you still get the idea. It's a nice fun vertical shooter, challenging from its collision hitbox. I mean, when you play a lot of the modern bullet hell shooters that you'll find on consoles, they focus on having a very compact hitbox. So even though your ship might take up a decent portion of the screen, you'll find that the actual area that the enemies need to collide with you or shoot you is very tiny. Here, being that Commodore 64 has some very powerful hardware sprites, you're unfortunately left with the fact that you have to... that the physical sprite on the screen is what you collide with, and the size of the ship means that it becomes very hard. Of course, when not very great skills of the game aren't helping either, so don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the game is unfairly hard, but it definitely becomes a challenge. Well, a little further, but not much. That in all is Light Force. It's a game I really enjoyed, although I'm utterly terrible at it. It does make me want to try and get a nice, more precise joystick. It's a fun shooter, it looks great, sounds amazing, and it's probably, I wouldn't call this one of the most essential shooters you have to get on the platform, but it's definitely worth checking out if you're into them. You know, I wouldn't say rummage all over the net to find it, or eBay, or however you like to collect if you're going to collect. But if you are, check it out. I think it's really, it shows graphically and orally, I guess you'd say, what the hardware can do, and it's a nice package overall. It's just very tough. But I think back in the day, games were always going to be this tough. So I hope you enjoyed that little peek. I look forward to putting up some more videos shortly. And if you do like this, subscribe. Let me know what you thought. Otherwise, I will see you next time. This is Rob signing out.